Hey guys, one last thing I want to show you on this rainy day today, and that's how to use a certain calculator. You're gonna have access on the milestones and on your district tests. I don't know what you call them in elementary school. District tests, DAs, interims, something like that. You get access on those in starting in sixth grade to a calculator, and it's a really nice calculator. It'll do some things I can't believe they give you to do on these tests, but it is a little bit tricky to use. And so what I want to do today is just show you how to use the calculator you'll get on your standardized tests, which you can see here, particularly to solve fraction problems. Excuse me. Um, that's the thing, most of the things this calculator can do will be obvious to you. You'll be able to use all the stuff in this middle part you see here, just like any other calculator, and you'll have no trouble with it. This stuff over here on the left is more for things you'll do when you're older. You'll have them on the test, but we won't really do anything that uses these tools if you're a little older. But this fraction button over here will really let this calculator do some things that most calculators will not do for you, but it's tricky to use, and I want to show you why. For instance, let's just say you're taking, one of your interims, and you get this first question here you see on this page, 4/5 times 1/4. Hopefully you know how to do that, either with a model, 4/5 of 1/4, or on paper. But if you forget, or if you just want to do it faster with this calculator, or more precisely, I want to show you how to do it. So 4/5 times 1/4. So what I'm going to do over here to make a fraction is I use this a divided by b numerator denominator fraction button. But to make 4/5, I have to click that. Then you can see over here it made the fraction for me. And I just typed in 4, but you'll notice to put in 5, I'm still in my numerator, so I kind of either have to click or use my keyboard to go down to 5. There's my 4/5. That's the tricky part. Now here's the tricky part. Sorry. To do the times, 4/5 times 1/4, I don't yet just press the times button, because if I do, look what happens. It tries to multiply just the denominator, and it looks like that. So what I have to do, I have my 4/5 to put the times sign after the fraction. I have to use this arrow button right here, like that. Now you'll notice I left the denominator. Let me go back and watch the little flashing cursor here. When I press this arrow button to the right, it'll leave the first fraction, and now it'll let me do times like that. So if I don't do that, it ends up putting it in the denominator, which is not what I want to do. I don't want to just multiply that denominator. I'm going to use this arrow. I want to multiply the whole thing. Next thing that's weird, for multiplication, it puts this dot symbol instead of this cross symbol we're used to seeing. We'll talk about that a little later in the year. This is a different symbol you start to use to multiply starting in sixth grade. So don't let that worry you either. So this says 4/5 times, and my question was times 1/4. So I've got to do 1/4 now. So I'm going to click this fraction button again, make a new fraction, 1 in my numerator, click or use my arrows, 4 in my denominator. Now I've got 4/5 times 1/4. So that's how you enter it. There was a few tricks just to entering it. But now you'll notice it doesn't give me my answer as a fraction. It gives me my answer as a decimal, 2/10. Normally that won't be helpful. Normally in questions that have fractions in the question, the answer choices are also going to have fractions in the answer. They're not going to have a decimal. All you have to do is this little button next to it will convert it to a fraction. 1/5, 2/10, 1/5, 2/10. That's kind of how that works. Let me do another one now that you've seen one. Let me clear everything out and go to the next one on my page. The next one is 1/3 minus 1/9. The more times you see this, it gets a little quicker. So 1/3, I'm going to click my fraction button. 1/3. Now, this is not where I want to press minus, because if I do minus, it's not going to subtract 1/9 from the fraction. It's just going to subtract it from the denominator. Don't want that. I have to use this arrow button or the arrow on my keyboard to leave the fraction, then do minus, then do a new fraction, then do 1/3. ninth, like that. So now 1/3 minus 1/9. You'll notice it gave me a never-ending decimal here, 2, or we would do 2 with the little line. Again, usually you're going to see, if you see fractions in the question, you'll see fractions in the answer. So I'm going to press this, and it'll show me my answer is 2/9. So do all that for you, which is super nice. So here's the next scary thing. The next even scarier thing when you divide is when you divide two fractions. So let's say I look at this one, 1/2 divided by 5/9, right there. This really doesn't look like you're used to doing. So I can do the 1/2 pretty quick. Well, let me check that again. What was it? 1/2 divided by 5/9. Okay. So make my fraction 1/2. Leave my fraction with this arrow button. Now, when I do divided by, watch what it's going to do. It's going to do that. So it's dividing and fractions are similar things to do. And this calculator is going to show you division always using the fraction symbol. This is very scary. So this is not a mistake, even though it looks like a mistake, which is pretty scary. If I now make my next fraction 5/9, it did do this correctly. If you look at this, there's like a fraction, then a divided by symbol like this, then another fraction. We're not going to ever deal with them this way, but I just need you to know that, like, if you want to use the calculator to do this, which you don't have to do, you could, of course, on paper, flip your second fraction, multiply, no problem. But this is how it'll look if you try to divide two fractions. It's weird, but it is correct. It is 9/10, which is equivalent to 9/10. So that's how you kind of deal with fractions on here. I also want you to practice a little bit today dealing with mixed numbers. They're a little bit weird as well. This one's going to be super weird because of division, so I won't go right to it. I'll do this one next, 5.5 minus 2.5. This will do those too. So what you're going to do, you're going to put in your whole number, 5, and then right next to it, without pressing anything else, I'll press my fraction button. And that's how I make 5 and 1/2 mixed number. It'll even do that for you, which is cool. Now again, if I leave my fraction, I can do 5.5 minus, I put in the whole number, then right next to it, I put in the fraction, 1/2. And 5.5 minus 2.5 is 3. Nothing to change it to, nothing to convert. So that's the calculator. I want to show you how to find it, and then I'm going to have you do some practice with it. So what I've put in the announcement for you to do is just one page of 10 fraction questions, and then their answers so you can make sure you did it right. I know it's weird, but the calculator is so hard to use that I want you to check your answer after you do the calculator. Just the answer, not the work. 1/5, 2/9. But I want you to check your answer just to make sure you're doing it right. This is literally a chance for you to practice using this calculator, which is really powerful, but hard to do correctly. It's tricky. So there's 10 questions with just fractions to get used to it, and then you'll just check your answer. And then there are 10 mixed number questions. And then you'll also just check your answer when you're done to see if you got it right. So what I'm literally going to have you do is on your paper, you're going to write the problem. You're going to work it out on the calculator. You're going to write the answer, not showing any work. I want to see what you got with the calculator. And then check it down here and see if you got it right and give it a little check if you did. So really what I want you to do is practice getting this calculator right, not doing the math right yourself. So on one side of the paper, you can maybe do the fraction questions, just write them down. Second page, write the fraction questions, and then check your answers when you're done. So that's what I'm going to expect to see on Monday. Check is literally just I did these questions and I got this answer and I checked to see that I got it right. I would do one at a time, like do the first one, check the answer. Do the second one, check the answer. Do the third one, check the answer. Because that way, if you're doing something wrong, you'll figure that out. Okay, so where's the calculator? Here's how you find it. You're just going to open a tab somewhere when you do, and it's called the Desmos, D-E-S-M-O-S, Scientific calculator. Desmos scientific calculator. You do have to put scientific because Desmos makes lots of cool calculators, and that's the one you want. So Desmos scientific calculator, and when you click it, it'll be the first choice. Looks like that. And then what I would do next, so you know you can easily find it in the future, if you just grab the name of it, this little thing next to the URL, and just pull it down to your bookmarks. You can just drop it in your bookmark bar, and then in the future, you can find it whenever you want. So, summarize one more time. Find the Desmos scientific calculator. On one side, write the questions on the just fractions worksheet here. On another side of your paper, write just the questions down for here. Work them out with the calculator. Check your answer. Then hopefully by the time we take your first interim, it's in a week or two, then you'll be a pro at using that. So that's a fancy calculator. I hope you're excited that you get to have access to it. It is really nice and really powerful. And I just want to make sure you are very good at operating it.